of the Enoch generation, a generation that walks with the Lord. We have with us in our studio today NIVEDHITHA, who is a costume designer by profession. She comes from a family of actors. Her grandfather was none other than T.S. Balaya, a veteran in the Tamil movie, and her dad is Junior Balaya. So NIVEDHITHA, we're happy to have you with us, and she will be sharing her journey with the Lord. So NIVEDHITHA, what sort of a background do you come from? Tell us something about your family, about your younger days.
Sure. So basically, I come from a Hindu background, and since I was a child, I've watched my mother and my father worshipping idols. They were very staunch Hindus, and I went to a convent school, and my concentration was not in that. Basically, I was more into Jesus and all that. So there was one point in my life where Jesus had to step in. He came into our life through my mother. One of our servant maids, she wanted to. She had been praying for a long time to come and work for us in our family. She was a believer. So God heard her prayers, and
She was somebody living in that vicinity?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So she had to come to our place and work for us. So she prayed for my mother, my father, for me and my brother. God heard her prayers, and one day what happened was she gave an English Bible to my mother, a small one, a torn one. She gave it to my mother, and she asked my mother to read it out to her because she didn't know English. And she was Telugu, so my mother did not know Telugu. So English was the only medium of language my mother could communicate with her. So she started reading the Bible, and she started to explain everything to her. And the words in the Bible touched her, touched my mother.
Your mom?
Yes.
Okay.
And the best part of this is my grandmother, that is my father's mother, before she could die, there was one day where a pastor came to our place and prayed for her. So she let a pastor inside the house to pray for the whole family, and the same pastor was the pastor for our servant maid.
Okay.
So my mother happened to go to that church, so that was the connection. So one New Year night, she went to that church. That was a Telugu church. My mother she's a Malayali. So she went to that church, and all she did was just closed her eyes and gave herself to the Lord. And God touched her. From that day on, it was 1999.
Okay.
It was a New Year's night. And the Lord changed her life since then. First my mother got saved, and then my father got saved. We saw Amma and Appa worshipping the Lord, and we slowly started to just do what they were doing.
But you just made a statement initially. You said that you were not into, the customs and practices that were happening in your house, but you were into Jesus.
Yes.
What exactly did you mean by that?
Jesus meaning, that was a Roman Catholic school.
Okay.
So I liked the way the nuns there moved with us, the patience that they had, and the kind of prayers that they prayed. They prayed at every interval. So that something was there. There was some peace inside me. So the time that I spent at home and the time that I spent in the school was different. There was peace. I'm really, the way God touched me was, when I think of it, I'm really happy that I came into the Lord. Because when I was a child, I used to be a very adamant girl. Like, since adamant is, not the good adamant, but I brought tears to my father and my mother's eyes. So I had an anger in me, which burst out in the form of, tears, and I hurt everybody. I hurt my mom, my father, and even I remember my father was not able to control me at all. I was not that happy child when I was little. So that was at the age of 8, 9. then I started to know about Jesus. My Amma was taken to a prayer meetings, house meetings, and all. So I used to be there, and
That was the time Mama had accepted Jesus?
yes,
Okay.
that was in 2000. So we were there in home meetings and all. So there was a section for kids. We just played in one place, and Amma, they were all attending to the prayer meeting. But my heart was there. What are they speaking? I want to know that. The kids there with me of my age, come on, let's play. But my heart was not in that. I wanted to know more about Jesus. What are they talking? What does Jesus say? I wanted to know more because I didn't have that peace in me. There was something lacking in me. I faced loneliness when I was little. I didn't have a best friend since I was in class 1. I yearned for a best friend. But later in life, that caught the Lord caught my attention. I turned my heart for Jesus.
So that void was filled by the Lord ultimately.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So my life was not that good when I was a child. I faced a lot of loneliness. I had a lot of people around me, but there was that emptiness in me. Only Jesus could fill it.
Okay.
Nothing else could fill it.
So you felt lost in a crowd?
Yes.
Okay. So your
and-
heart was yearning to go and sit with them in the prayer meetings.
Yes.
Did you get to go there?
Yes, later on. They thought they considered me as a little girl.
Okay.
They did not,
Realize
connect
that
with
you
all-
had this
Yeah.
urge inside of you.
Yes.
Okay.
But at the age of 13, when I was in class 7 or 8, I don't remember, at the age of 13, I had a dream in the morning. That was about 5 a.m. I saw someone, a spirit coming to my house, and the spirit knocked the door, and I opened my house. That was a dream. I opened my house, and the spirit told me to read Jeremiah chapter 1. I had not read the Bible fully or even half. I don't know anything. But when my dream was off, I woke up. I opened the Bible, and that was the passage where Jeremiah was called to be a prophet. So that was in the age of 13 that I got that thing. I knew that it was not from an evil spirit because I had that peace inside me. So I was sure that it was from God. But I didn't take it seriously. Okay, it was a dream. Okay, it's a dream.
So you did go through Jeremiah chapter 1, you did read it?
I did.
Okay.
So,
But did you understand what was in it?
yes, I did.
Okay.
I knew that it was a calling for Jeremiah from God. And
But did you realize why God was showing you that or something like that?
No.
No.
So that was one thing. And later on, when I was in class 12, I had a girl who was my friend. One day I had a dream of her, a bad dream about her. Like she was dying in an accident, and I was also shown a blue-colored van. She was dead. That's what I saw in my dream. And the next day, what I did was I called her up and I said, "Are you okay?" She was like, "Yes, I'm okay." I asked her, like, I was telling her, like, I had a bad dream about you. Are you okay? I had a dream like you're dying. She said, like, "Yes, I'm okay." She told me, like, what if I die? What would you do? I was like, don't say all that, leave it. And 2 months, within the span of 2 months, I got a call from my friend. I was having baths, so my mother picked up the call. One of my friends called to my phone, and my mother was informed that she was dead.
My God.
She died in an accident. So that actually, it brought fear to me. I didn't know how to handle the situation. The thought inside me was, why a bad thing is shown to me like that? I didn't know how to handle it. I consulted one of my pastors, not at that time, but later on when I consulted a pastor and I told him about this, he told me that you could have just cancelled that dream and she would have been saved. You could have just cancelled it then and there. But I didn't know about it. So that was one incident. And later on, when I was in college, I had another dream God gave me another dream where one of my church members, she was actually suffering from this disease called lupus. So she had that. And it was an afternoon, and in the dream I was shown that she was burning, her body was burning, and someone from the church was reaching out to her. So her body was burning. That's what I saw in the dream in the afternoon. And after I woke up in the evening, I came to know that she passed away in the church. I mean, the church member had passed away. So all those things kept running in my mind, but I didn't have a good prayer life. I don't remember praying daily or reading the Bible daily. I didn't have a connection with God. So I just kept...
So you hadn't accepted Christ as your personal savior at this point?
I did when I was 11 years old.
Okay.
11, 12 years old. But the connection, the prayer life was not there. But I had a connection, but once in a while. It was like that. But later on in life, I happened to see a lot of the sermons of Brother DJ's Dinathan. He is my favorite. His testimonies touched me a lot. He seemed to be a very genuine person. The love that he has for the compassion that he has for the people, the genuineness of his love, and he did not try to magnify himself anywhere in his ministry, and that's what caught my attention. I did not listen to or see anybody's testimony. I'm so attached to his sermons and all that. It touched me, and I also heard a few testimonies about him traveling to hell, and after hearing that, the fear of death just left me.
So these dreams had disturbed you in such a way that you had a fear of death?
Yes, definitely. Okay. My father would die, my mother would die, I would die, my brother would... since I was a child, I did not have a feeling of protection. Only after listening to DJ Saya's sermons and things, something came into my mind, and I knew it was God who's telling me that I hold you.
Wow.
So I'm not scared of death today. And I know this body and everything is just temporary. So even if I die, my soul will continue to live with God. So Christianity is, believing in Jesus is not just about living a great life. It's about the soul. It's very, very, it's a very...
soul prospering.
Yes.
And when you prosper in everything as your soul prospers.
Yes.
So for you, knowing God, in a closer walk with God, you were able to get over fear. Okay?
Yes.
That was the basic thing that was actually operating inside of you.
Yes.
But you said your mom first came into the Lord. You told us how she came into the Lord. How was it that your dad came into the Lord?
My dad came into the Lord when it was 2003. So my mom went to the church first, and later on he joined. After 3 years, he joined my mom.
So dad didn't have any problem about mom going to the church or anything like that?
No. He was very open about it. And in fact, he chose the name for my mother after her baptism and stuff. He's like very open. But I went to Sabarimala with my father for almost 5 years. I continuously went there.
Okay.
I was taken there, but there was no connection between me and that. So my father happened to go to the church one day, and he saw many people raising their hands up and praising God, little children crying to the Lord. He didn't know what was happening, but he got this verse from Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all those who are heavily laden, I will give you rest. So that verse touched him. So he stopped smoking, he stopped his drinking and all that. From that day on, God started to use him differently. My mother and my father together, my brother and myself, we started to join them for the ministry and all. We had gone to a lot of churches. God has...
So that was the moment your dad gave his life to Christ?
Yes.
Okay.
He was a very staunch Hindu. He was like, he was a Guru Swami in the Sabarimala team. He was the main person. So God can do anything. Coming from a very big background, just a little bit about it. My grandfather had 18 acres of garden in Madipaka.
Yeah, I know there's a big
Balaya
place there
Garden.
called Balaya Gardens.
Yes,
Right.
yes. And the person who tended the farm, he was the person who cheated us. And a lot of loss in our lives. And the way my father, the sons in the family, the way their birthday was celebrated was, they took a basket, they placed a lot of currency notes in it, and they just poured it on the heads of the sons. That was just to tell them that you should be rich all the time. So that was the thing, and the second half of his life was just the opposite, when poverty struck us. And poverty was one of the reasons why we came into Christ. It all happened for good.
So when the need arose, you began to search for the living God.
Yes.
Okay. So you didn't get back your property?
No.
Okay.
The mentality that we have, my father, my mother, my brother and I have is, whatever it is, serve God. Loss, be it whatever. The Lord said, there is tribulation in this earth, on earth, but behold, I have overcome the world. So we believe.
So it's been beautiful to listen to you. See, although Dad was coming from a different sort of a background and different sort of a culture, he was such an open-minded person, willing to give in to his wife's, change, and because it's a total different change. Generally in families, when there is such a change happening, you see a lot of opposition rising, but your dad seems to be a very different sort of a person. So although he believed something else, he still was so open-minded to accept what your mom was doing, and that literally paved the way for him coming into the fold, and then you, your brother, and it's been beautiful to listen to you. So viewers, you've been listening to her testimony as to how God brought them into the fold, and how they've begun their life, together as a family ministering for the Lord. So we will be continuing to talk with NIVEDHITHA in the next episode, where she will be sharing with us their walk with the Lord, the ministry, the ups and the downs, and all that they faced. And till this date, they've been true to the one who called them. And if you and I would be true to him, we too would be that ENOCH generation that would walk with him and walk after him. God bless.
Darkness falls upon you, and your path seems unclear. When you feel so alone, filled with doubts and fear. When darkness falls upon you, and your path seems unclear, when you feel so alone, filled with doubts and fear, look up to Jesus, he will make a way. Look up to Jesus, he will make a way. You will rise and shine, your night will turn into day. Look up to Jesus, he will make a way. Look up to Jesus, he will make a way. You will rise and shine, your night will turn into day. Problems surround you, and you're lost and confused. When life seemed so weary, so burdensome too. When problems surround you and you're lost and confused, when life seems so weary, so burdensome too. Look up to Jesus, He will make a way. Look up to Jesus, He will make a way. You will rise and shine. Your night will turn into day. Look up to Jesus, He will make a way. Look up to Jesus, He will make a way. You will rise and shine. Your night will turn into day. You will rise and shine. Your night will turn into day.